Here we go.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well on this Thursday. That's it, baby. It's Thursday. No, it's Thursday. You're thirsty, I reckon. Anyway, let's get straight into the meat and potatoes as we found it. We found it. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the interview that subsequently the person who did that interview vanished like a fart in the wind. Disappeared-o. Cool word that. Made it up. Yeah, did an interview, disappeared, vanished off the face of the planet, and we're left thinking, where did they go? Where did they go? What was the point of them? What was the point? Have they been silenced? Are they scared? Are they on the run? Has somebody got rid of them? Who knows? But look, I'm not going to show the interview on here because there's no point in both me and Brian showing you it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the key takeaways from it for those who can't be bothered to watch it. But that is the video. So the link to this will be in the pinned comment for those of you who want to actually go and listen to it. Now, it's in Spanish. It can be found on YouTube. And Brian has put it through Filmora, which has done a type of job at deciphering the language, and some of it's relatively accurate. Some of it is a little bit mental, and you have to kind of read between the lines. But for the most part, the key takeaways from it are there, and this is what we need to go over because it does tell quite a story. Now, first and foremost, we have to consider this, right? Because I think this is the most important thing of all. And that is that we have this female, Diana, coming out, claiming that she's a fan, and seemingly just randomly picks the Casa Sur Palermo to be a hotel that she would go outside. Seems that she's with other fans as well. There's a small group of them. And this is going to be the hotel that they're going to stand outside from about 9:30 in the morning and hang about on the off chance Liam may be there and they may be lucky enough to find him there and see him and spend time. Now, it could be argued that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. The flip side of that coin is when people are absolute fans of people and they want to see them and these are like their idols, then it's not beyond the realms of possibility that if you know that someone's in the country, you know that these kind of hotels are potentially the kind of hotels that he could be at, and because of the layout, the format of the hotel, it would be easy to kind of peer in and see who's about in the lobby and catch a glimpse. Is not beyond the realms of possibility. Now, me and Brian Harvey, I think we both absolutely conclude that the case that we're being told, the story that we're being told, the situation is complete and utter bollocks, but we do have certain variances in what we believe did and didn't happen. Now, Brian is skeptical that Liam was even at the Casa Sur Palermo. Potentially something happened away from that hotel. And part of this is all about trying to convince people that Liam was indeed at this hotel to kind of remove him from potentially being somewhere else. Now, I'm not saying, I can't say that that's absolutely impossible because it certainly isn't. Something could have happened elsewhere, and this could have indeed just been the place that they decided to fabricate this story. And they just needed some people to, crisis actors, if you like, to come in and place Liam here and say, yeah, we saw him, we interacted with him, yada, yada, yada. But there's elements of this interview which sparks some, in me, it sparks some reality and some accuracy in terms of Liam Payne's life that I feel offers Diana credibility in what she is saying. And I'll get to that in a bit because it falls back into what Liam had spoken about previously on Diary of a CEO and about his life changes and things like that. But what is she saying? So she is basically saying that she had been outside the Casa Sur Palermo hotel for around 9:30 in the morning on the off chance that she would capture a glimpse of Liam. So what we're saying is she is outside this hotel and can see into this hotel. So she can see into the lobby. And she doesn't see Liam in the lobby at all. And again, this is just her account until around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, approximately. Which would seem to then, she goes on to suggest that this is when Liam wakes up. He gets up at around this time and comes down into the lobby. And this is when they engage in a conversation where Liam would go on to tell her about his love of Argentina, his potential plans to get a property and move to Argentina, at least have a hub, a more permanent hub where they can spend more time coming, which raises questions to me with respect of, because he goes on to say about some of the sites have been out and seen different things. He's done stuff with Kate and, they both like the area, which then raises a question. Why did Kate leave? If they were loving it that much that they were potentially considering getting a property there, then would she have been so, again, wanting to leave? Because if this is going to be somewhere that you love, you've enjoyed, you've had some good times, and you're potentially thinking of living here, getting a property here, but she can't stomach it for more than sort of 3 weeks before having to leave. That there is a conflict. There's a conflict there, isn't there? There's a conflict of what Diana is saying and pairing that with the actions of at least Kate, because Kate would seemingly, her actions would suggest that she weren't too keen on the area and she literally couldn't stomach it an extra sort of 3 or 4 days before this visa process was likely to have concluded. Now, we don't know how accurate that is. That's kind of what is being put out for us to believe, that this was due to come to fruition on the Friday. So, look, who knows? Who knows? But my point being, her behavior, her actions don't match what Diana is suggesting that Liam would be talking about in terms of their love of the area and desire to have at least some kind of owned hub to enable him to keep coming back. So we'll stick a pin in that one. But yeah, so she's saying that there's nothing in terms of what the story has been put out with Liam's interactions within the lobby. So we've got to think that we've got a wedding party that's seemingly there, and they're seeing Liam sort of seemingly getting worse and worse as the day progresses. The drunkenness, the out of control, the passing out, the collapse, all of this. She doesn't see any of this. She doesn't see any of it. Now, Liam would seemingly suggest to her that he is going. He's just got up. He's going to get some food. He's got something to do, and then he'll come back later and interact with them again. Diana says about a friend also would like to see Liam. It doesn't appear that she's there with her at the time. She's going to hopefully come later and bring Liam a gift, which he would go on to say that, yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. And yeah, of course I will. I'll come back and I'll speak to you, no problem at all. And then we have a scenario where he then goes, and then what transpires is the aftermath of the death, and what Diana then sees in the aftermath. And that is, she would say that a police car would turn up and there would be a fire truck that would turn up as well, which kind of doesn't go hand in hand with what was requested on the call that was heard in terms of what was requested, and that would be an ambulance. No police, no nothing, an ambulance. So there's a conflict there as well. So we don't know. But what is very, very interesting here is that Liam would suggest that he had done things such as he'd gone for a run with Kate. Now, part of Liam's turn from what his previous lifestyle was and getting messy, if you like, was being healthy. He wanted to go to the gym. He would go to the gym. He would have multiple daily routines in terms of fitness. It would be that he would get up in the mornings. He would go to a run, and that was seemingly continuing. So again, when you hear these little elements, these little discussions that he's had, and it ain't just about with Diana, it's about the likes of Kelly Osbourne, for instance, saying that she had spoken to Liam and he had actually offered her words of advice. We've got AJ McLean, who's also seemingly suggesting that Liam was okay. We know that Liam was taking part in this documentary for Netflix. It'll be very, very interesting to see whether that is released, that comes out, and whether we as the public can see anything in Liam at all that would suggest that he was hiding something. There was a decline. Let's not forget that he is being accused of not only taking the devil's dandruff by Rogelio Norris, but that he was apparently on the harder. He was on the H, baby. He was on the H. He had to have been resuscitated. He had gone into rehabilitation. He had been having weekly counseling sessions. So all of these things being dropped by his psychiatrist not long before this happened. And she had suggested to him, carry on taking what you're taking. Don't drink. Don't do this. Don't do that. Carry on with your weekly sessions. So you just think, there's so much stuff here. There's so much stuff that makes some things unforgivable, because if he was on this path of he had to set all these things in his life, but he seemingly had them all in his life, so he was perhaps seeing a counsellor, he was perhaps on the medication that he was on, he was perhaps doing his fitness regime, and this was keeping him on the straight and narrow, then even more so you have to think, well, what the fuck happened? What happened in this small fraction of time that sent him into a massive, massive spiral? Because it doesn't seem like it was this gradual thing. It just doesn't. And look, Diana could be a plant. She could just be someone like Brian Harvey alludes to, that he believes that there's something bigger, that Liam Payne, perhaps this didn't happen here. Now, again, I feel that there's something else, but when you think about the why, it's very hard to think, why would somebody do this? Why is it? Because generally it's money, it's retribution, it's through fear. So did someone fear that Liam was going to say something? Did somebody have it in for Liam? Was this an accident? Was this just purely an accident? Did somebody do something? Did Liam partake in something that got out of hand, and did he succumb to injury sustained within the hotel? And what we're seeing is an attempt to cover up something that happened in the hotel. There's so many things that could, but all I know is that the story that we're being told is not accurate. All of the people who are giving us pieces of the story, they seem to be lying. And if you're telling the truth and nothing but the truth, then there would be a lot more clarity here. You would be able to see the flow of it. Everybody would be in unison. And this, to me, seems like a story that they initially wanted us to believe, that Liam Payne took his own life. He jumped. When in fact, they had to retract that. And it threw out tiny little elements, like where he was in terms of the landing, if you like, which would have made sense had he have jettisoned himself from the banister. But when they had to remove that, you're then left with, oh, what? So he fainted, passed out, and fell. Well, how the fuck did he land there then? So there's all these little things where somebody hears it or sees it, and then they don't. People who were there, but then other people are saying they weren't. You got Rogelio Norris, well, he was fine. Other people saying that he was descending into chaos. Why? How can anybody feel that there is nothing nefarious, nothing dodgy going on here, when every single tiny little element of this is dodgy? But this interview, I would go and listen to it. Try and ignore some of the the attempts that have been made to decipher it, because some of it is a little bit out there. But the bare bones of it and the gist of it is there. And that is that we have a fan who was outside the hotel, apparently all day, didn't see anything from what we're being told, interacted with Liam, and he was absolutely fine. But something happened, and he ended up dead. I'll catch you all later on today. Blah.